And as being encouraged by the Department of Education, our action researches must be in parallel with the basic education research agenda. So there are topics that which are of priority of the Department of Education. So you can choose from any of the following topics. For example, about teaching and learning process. So since we're teachers, we're dealing with problems, and our goal is to solve, if not to lessen the effects of those problems within our jurisdiction. For example, within the classroom. Another one is about governance. So how administration is being done in the public school system, for example. Waste management, that's still part of the governance. And of course, we do have the child protection. Yeah, lots of topics that would be under the child protection. Human resource development, that's another promising topic wherein we can have our solution. And of course, inclusive education, gender and development, and the last one, we do have the risk reduction management. So these topics are the ones being prioritized by the basic education research agenda. Alright, so for this time, before we will go to how to formulate the problem and of course a draft title, we must first, I will be reviewing first the preliminary terms for us to formulate our problem. So as you can see, specifically for science students or educators or teachers, we do have here a very a simple experiment. So I'm gonna pause for 10 seconds for you to think of what's this title or picture is all about. So what does it depict? Take a look at that. Alright, so that picture would tell us that there are two setups, and in each setup there are what we call as control, there are what we call as constant, and there are what we call as variables. So when we're speaking of variables, these are very important for you to define it, for you to start with your research problem. So for example, in here we do have variables. For example, when we're speaking of variables, these are the things or factors in our problem which are changing. So what are the parts of this experiment that you can see that are changing? So first, as you can see, it's one setup is being watered, the other one is not. So the amount of water or the level of water is what we call as independent variable. So that is the independent variable, the variable that is being manipulated by the experimenter or by the researcher. Alright, so and what are these things as well that will change as brought by the change due to the independent variable? So as you water the plant, what will happen? The growth of plant will differ, for example. So that growth of plant, as you can see, this will be what we call as dependent variable. So dependent variable is a variable that is depending, the change is depending on the independent variable. So that's, we know that independent, we know the dependent variables. And of course, there are constant here. We do have the same amount of sunlight, same type of plant, same soil, type of soil, same container. So these are what we call as constant.